Welcome to Find Out Friday. You are joined by myself and Sean Corcoran. Sean, how are you?
How are we? Exciting, exciting.
Super excited. So we were about to launch chapter 2 of our incredible collaborative visual artscape. And the first one obviously came out a few weeks ago with Neurolis, and that was incredible and has had such a wonderful attention. During this process, obviously myself and yourself are growing to know each other quite well, and there's so many moments in our lives that are kind of like, oh, making us speechless. But this particular interview is going to be particularly challenging for me because it really put me out of my comfort zone. So obviously when the track came in, you were on a Zoom chat with me, and you will be able to tell everyone what my reaction was when the time is right. And it's been quite, difficult.
Keeping it in, keeping secrets is difficult.
Oh, jeez.
Especially when we've got an amazing artist for the second release. It's such an honor to be working with this artist. It's just, But I was there, as I said, I was there when the track came in. And we listened to it, I think, for the first time together, and it was like, that's definitely in. That's like, not, we don't need to go back and say, can you anything? That was just like specially made and especially tributed, specially made for the Supersonic Sand with a special name. And what's the name, Rebecca?
Okay, so before we get to what the name is, right? So the collaborative artist is someone who's very, very special to my musical journey. I would say he is probably my top 5 choice for the best electronic acts in Ireland right now. So when I reached out to him, I honestly, genuinely didn't believe he'd want to do it or have the time. Never mind what's about to happen next, okay? So to me, it was a massive honor and privilege to be able to work with someone I respect as much as our feature guest, okay? So that's what I want to say. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that to me, this person is incredibly special. He marks several, not just 1 or 2, several chapters in my life with his songs. I have listened to every single track of his more times than I care to mention whether he knows it or not, but he definitely knows it now. I've seen him perform. I've been in the same room as him. I would consider him a friend. I've interviewed him before, and his music really marks my life. So what's about to unfold for everyone at home, I want you all to know, is an incredible, humbling experience for me. I'm finding it very difficult to actually put into words what's about to happen. So Sean, actually, I'd prefer if you told everyone.
Well, I think without revealing who the artist is just yet, it is Find Out Friday. In 24 hours, it's what? We actually recorded this in the past tense, days ago. But actually, for you out there, the viewer, it's actually Friday. It's Friday. Thank Crunchy, it's Friday. It's Find Out Friday, because you're about to find out who our artist is. Now, the video and the track will be released on multiple sources tomorrow, 24 hours from today, and tomorrow will be Saturday for the viewer. Saturday at 8 p.m. So we're going to release everything tomorrow. But right now, we're getting ready to reveal who the artist is. And as the Viqueen was saying, she is incredibly humbled. Now, it's been a pleasure for me too, because I got to listen to the track 1,000 times, probably more than that, because editing the video to go with this incredible track. It's about 4 minutes of track. It was a really immersive experience for me to be sitting in my little studio here with my bass speaker underneath there, my 2 other speakers here, and the sound. And it just, as the track was coming in back and forth, mastered back and forth, it was just really immersive. And I finished up yesterday and I had to drive. I went on a drive and I couldn't get the track out of my head. Every single note and the layers and layers in it are just so immersive and beautiful. And the track is dedicated to and titled The Viqueen. Specially made for the project by, who's it made by?
It is made by my good friend WOB, and I am about to reveal my good friend WOB. WOB, how are you?
Hey friends. I'm very good, thank you. How are you doing?
good. So you got to see all of that and listen to all of that. How do you feel right now?
Well, I feel the same. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
He's speechless.
See, everyone is speechless with this one.
Open the door, Viqueen. Bring in the Brazilian dancers and the salsa setup and the parade of the color. No, that's not going to happen.
I was making a joke with both of you earlier that I was watching fainting goat videos in order to learn how to faint gracefully on camera, because I was just like, how do I even stay like on the screen? Because it's just so surreal. Like, so what we're doing with these visual artscapes is the artist is giving us a track, and then Sean is taking the title of the track and making it into his own visual artscape. So that process really, really excites me. So obviously we want to talk to WOB about his track and what the creation process was like for that. So do you want to talk to us about the track that everyone is about to discover?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for getting me involved. Like how it all started when I got a call from you asking would I like to be involved in a collaboration. I love collaborations because that's a core of my work for the past, 8 years. I always, on all of my releases, I was striving to kind of work with other artists of any discipline, like not only musicians. So I couldn't say no, especially coming from you, because I trust your connections and your taste. Then when I saw Sean's art over there, my mind was blown. Like it's just mesmerizing. It's amazing, and especially I like the way the way it's described as impermanent art, and how Sean just creates that and then it disappears, and everything is done in the moment. So when I got a call, I didn't want to recycle any of the old songs, because every producer has a full bag of half-finished songs that they can polish up for the next project and stuff. I said no, like this deserves a song made just for this purpose. So sitting in the studio, how do I start now? So my kind of home vibe in my head aligns pretty much with Sean's working environment, like seaside. So my mind is in that state all the time, so just closed my eyes, and then I started kind of picturing the landscape and the soundscape. I use the soundscape to describe it in a way. So I started working with the movement, the way you were moving the sand with your rake, the way waves are kind of moving back and forth on the shore. So I started kind of working with sounds describing that. Then I introduced a very strong, powerful vocal line. And then from there on, I was building layer by layer. So I was inspired by, I'm in a new place where I don't, probably it came with years of working and experience, but I think I came out of a place where you write a song out of your own personal, very strong emotion, like, songs after a breakup, or a song when you're sad, or a song when you're super happy, like that's all you. But how about when you did, this was a perfect example for me. Like I've been asked to do something for a project. So how to do that, but keep the art, keep that connection to something divine that you just produce a very cool piece of art, And like this is very new to me, and this song is one of the first ones when I'm actually creating art out of a very good place, rather than coming out of some very strong emotion, whether from myself, whether it's good or bad emotion, So this is like, it is an emotion, but it's I don't know how to describe it, like, how to put it in words.
I can hear what you're saying, because even the reason that the three of us are here today as well is like, for me as well, it's been a turning point in my career as an environmental artist. That like this project is like, I've been working on the sand for 10 years, and now this is my next chapter of that work. So it's exploring that connection, and what you're saying, that you try and connect with that thing, that divine thing, or whatever that thing is that brings the art to the surface, whether it's a response.
Wherever the talent is coming from, I don't know where it's coming from, but it's interesting to explore that. So yeah, So yeah, it started from there, and then with that strong vocal line, then I start thinking about women, about mothers, about life in general, how life is impermanent in the same way as your life, as your art is. I mean, it's actually not impermanent; it's super permanent. And then everything starts from a mother, and then all of us have a mother, and then we all create something. So it's not even gender thing anymore. It's just a nature thing.
Yeah.
And then I was layering things one by one, mostly working with eyes closed. Then I would kind of layer up things the way you're layering your shapes on the sand, the way you do. So things would come and go. There's lots of movement in a song. Like if somebody asked me to describe this song with one word, it would definitely be movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then eventually, how do we name a song, especially when there's no vocals and it's not a pop song, so we don't take the punch light out, the punch, and the punch line. So I was like, okay, so first of all, you asked me to write a song, and I was on a big break of writing music. I didn't want to write music. I was just being happy with some other things and other talents that I have. So that was cool. So it was great to kind of get involved in something interesting again. So out of respect for that, I wanted to give the song to you. So I was like, Viqueen, and you're a mother as well, and it all kind of lines up, all three of us, Sean's art discipline, you connecting us, and then it just made perfect sense to name it after you. And
so the Viking,
as a friend, we are separated because of current situation with pandemic. As a musician, that's the only gift I can give you for at the moment.
Wow. Oh, she's speechless. Fainting goat.
No, but okay, so regardless of what the song is called, and I want to make sure that everyone understands this, so regardless of my connection to WOB, the fact that he's my friend, the fact that I respect him, the fact that the song is called Viking, regardless of all those things, I honestly have to say that myself and Sean genuinely listened to the track over 1,000 times since we received it 7 weeks ago.
Oh, me too, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
While I was making it, of course.
But it's so layered. It's so different. It's so beautiful. And then to find out your process in writing it, and that's amazing.
It was interesting, but I feel thankful, because being asked to work on something like this, and as I described, how do you put yourself as an artist in a state that you create art now, where it's not I'm not commissioned to do something which I don't care about, it's not about that. I really want to put myself into there. So how do you put yourself in that state? So you gave me opportunity to get in tune with that part, so I'm actually very grateful for the opportunity as well at the same time.
And when Rebecca, we were on a Zoom call when your track came in, and Rebecca said, "Oh my God, WOB sent in the track. The track is ready. Here it is." So we listened to it for the first time together, and we were both blown away. With some of the other collaborations, there has been a lot of back and forth in terms of, I wonder, there's been, but this we just knew straight away that is amazing. That's going to be one of the early releases. It is just such an incredible track. And I suppose from my point of view, when Rebecca told me what your rough notes on it in terms of the mother and the tribute with Viqueen and so on, I kind of knew this piece of art, this drawing that I'd made a few weeks previous was the ideal piece for it. And I suppose the further I got into the edit, the drawing only took a few hours, 2 or 3 hours to do that little tree. It's not a big piece. But the editing has taken me weeks to edit the video, and during that process, the artwork that I created visually based on the track and the collaboration between the three of us has also turned into a direct portrait of Rebecca, of the Viqueen, in terms of you'll see when it's released tomorrow in 24 hours, you'll see there's kind of getting to know Rebecca I only know Rebecca 12 months. She interviewed me 12 months ago. We've never actually met face to face. And this project has been quite intense over the last couple of months. So we've just constantly on Zooms and calls and so on. But for knowing the Viqueen over the last 12 months, it's kind of, there's high points, there's low points, there's happy, there's sad, there's all these different emotions, you know, in terms of this exuberant, you know, giver of, you know, amazing things for musicians and artists around Ireland in particular. And like, so for me, it was trying to express that visually. Like I had the footage, but the footage, I added something to the footage, which is basically a cloud sequence that I shot years ago. And I've been looking for a project to fit the cloud sequence into, where I literally fly my drone up through a cloud. It was actually fog mist that came in over the sea. It was very surreal. And I said, right, this is just perfect. It was like a fog cloud over the coast. So I flew my drone up into the cloud, and I kind of, it's like a periscope on a submarine. I got to kind of look around through the eyes of my drone. As I was recording it, I was like shaking. Oh my God, I'm in a cloud. I'm over a cloud. Look at this. And so the footage is a little bit shaky, and it's a bit like you kind of see it revolving. But as well, your track, as you said, Wob, is like, you know, the movement that's in it, it lended itself to kind of like this erratic kind of looking around, and then the movement of the sea. And so look, so again, it's a double-barreled tribute to you, Viqueen, a visual tribute as well as an audio tribute. And it's an absolutely fantastic track. Really looking forward to seeing.
If I may add, collaborative tributes to the Viking.
Absolutely. So it's like, and I think as well, like what Wob was saying, how these things evolve. Like when he got the call, and it's okay, it's a call to action, it's a call out. You know, you kind of bring yourself to a place. And what you were saying about Wob, how do you bring your, like when I stood on that sand, now I didn't know when I stood on that sand that what that would become would be the Viqueen tree. I've added the word tree onto the end of the original track, the Viqueen. So for me, the visual side of things adds the word the tree. Like I didn't know when I crossed that little stream that was where that artwork was going to end up. And in fact, when I stood on the sand, just before I started with the stick, right at the very start of the video, when it comes down out of the clouds, you'll actually notice me kind of going around in circles before I start, and I didn't know what I was about to produce. So
I felt the same. I was the same. I dedicated, so I accepted the challenge. I dedicated a week. So I was sitting in a studio, and I felt exactly the same. Looking at my software like DAW, and I was like, okay, so.
Well, there you go. That's interesting.
Canvas. How do we start? Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
So as soon as it starts, it just keeps keeps rolling. Like it's that's the creative buzz I love. This is why I love producing. Yeah. And I haven't been producing in a long time, so this is the I released my album this time last year.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of practicing, working a little bit, but never sat and properly kind of did piece of work.
Yeah.
So I really put all of myself into, and it felt exactly.
Oh, it's very apparent.
But even I'm very proud at one point, because I was so positive about everything. I was so involved. I wanted to do it. I finished everything in 4 days. Like everything was done in 4 days.
Yeah.
And like the process for anybody who's not involved in production, it's normally split between many people. In example, you write that's one stage, writing a song. Then the second one is recording everything. Then the third one would be arranging everything. Then the fourth one will be mixing everything, and then you need to master everything, which is more kind of technical but still artistic kind of discipline in all of that. And you need breaks in between those, because you're listening to the same piece of song all the time, and you lose your judgments. You're becoming bad. Even if it's bad, it sounds good. You know, you need to time off to recalibrate your ears. And I didn't have that time, you know, so I was kind of pushing in, and I trusted my kind of bass lines, and it was
like when you sent us the final mastered track last week, as I said, like I've listened to it 1,000 times while creating the video to it, so like and so I could hear the subtle nuances, the new bits in the master. Like towards the end, there's all these other kind of like aquatic kind of like maybe they were already there, I don't know, but they seem to come up to the surface. There was kind of this new.
They were there. There's the thing in the mixing where you separate elements, so you can actually hear every single sound at the same time. Otherwise, they would kind of mask each other. It's
Yeah,
it's a technical / artistic discipline.
Yeah, yeah. No, because it was beautiful for me, having listened to it so many times, that when the mastered track, now, I mean, the Viqueen here is my musical mentor. She's been, like a year ago, I didn't even have Spotify. So now I'm kind of like exposed to all these new genres and so on, so which is fantastic, because it's really, now I've always loved music and I've always listened to music, but it's just, I listen in a different way now in terms of exploring new things, and to be able to collaborate with electronic artists on this electronic artists like yourself is just fantastic, because for me, it opens up that whole new level of understanding as well. Like you were talking about all the layers in terms of the creation and the different, you know, and even with like video editing. I mean, I've done a lot of video editing, but like the way I edited it was in 2 layers as well. I mean, there's 4,000 images in the video, but they're repeated several, maybe 20 or 30 times. So there's I don't know, hundreds of thousands of images created from my giraffe from the time lapse. But I layered it with the cloud sequence underneath. So just like what you were saying, where those sounds were coming out in the mix, in the mastering, like the Viqueen and myself at the moment are kind of discussing the clouds, and in terms of the position, you know, we're just kind of like dissolving between when is too much, when is it too little, when is it too much. So just finding those layers. So it's beautiful to see the subtlety as well in the sound that comes to the surface in the final master track. It was lovely to behold that.
Yeah, and it's been fascinating for me as well to be the go-between. So like I see the video at all the different stages, and I hear most of the tracks at all the different stages, and I'm the person who usually has to go back to the artist and go, can we maybe alter this, or can we change this?
It's been very, like for me, that it's been so invaluable for me having Rebecca there, in terms of like with some of the art, like it's been, this project has been, the one with yourself, WOB, has been consuming in terms of the amount of time it's taken me, but to be honest, it's been very, very simple for me, because any kind of conversations Rebecca was having them directly with you, and the same with some of the other projects that would be released on this have been way more complicated, like really you know, intensive back and forth. And I personally wouldn't be able to make my art as immersive or as successful in terms of how it's presented, only for Rebecca is able to do all that other stuff in terms of freeing up my mind, that literally, here's the track, put on your headphones, listen to this for 2 weeks. That's for me is the beauty of being able to, you know, with having Rebecca there, it's been just phenomenal. Like because normally now, yeah. It's like, and we've only just met, we've only Facebook friended each other the other day. Like we've got one message each to each other. Like, so all these electronic artists are suddenly friending me. And it's like, I'm only getting to meet everybody afterwards. So I want to come to Mullingar. I want to come to Mullingar with the two of you.
Yeah, because like before the interview we were saying we need to meet up, and we probably do. Like, no, we definitely do. Like, this particular interview I knew would be a little bit challenging for me, because I am genuinely speechless because of everything that everyone else is saying. I agreed to co-produce this project, but I don't really think I knew quite how much of an impact my co-production was going to. Yeah. There's been.
Oh no, it's phenomenal. Like I mean, this track, like it's apart from the dedication that it's sonically and visually dedicated to you. I mean, this track didn't exist and wouldn't have existed only for the project. Like, so it's like specially made, and it's a new departure from my work. It's a new departure for WOB's work. It's a new departure for your work as well, the Viqueen, in terms of where you're going to bring your projects in terms of this is going to flavor all of our works going into the future. And it's really, really exciting. So can't wait to see what people think when we release it tomorrow.
True. And now, since we're talking about the song, nobody had a chance to hear it yet. I mean, not only the song, the joint project of audiovisual art that we're gonna release soon. So what can they, from my perspective, including both disciplines, both your sound art and music, how I would describe the song is it's a very introspective song. For a listener, if they kind of slow down, open themselves, and look into themselves while they're listening to song and watching the video, I think that's the recipe for ultimate enjoyment.
I really got that as well, and I was finding it challenging for the first couple of weeks, because we were talking to a couple of guest editors that are hopefully going to be joining us to actually physically edit some of the videos, the future videos. But so I was kind of visiting the track and coming away from it, and visiting it again, doing a rough cut and coming away from it. And it wasn't until I kind of in the final week or two, or the final 10 days maybe, that I really got what you're saying there, Wob, about the kind of like the depth in it, in terms of like even when you see it, you'll notice it kind of inverts itself into darkness. It's kind of like, oh, there's the guy doing the sand art at the start once we come down out of the clouds, but it goes into a fairly deep and dark place, and so it is that kind of self-reflective, kind of expressive, personal kind of element. It's kind of, there's even one section of it, it's kind of looks like the Antarctic.
It's open. This is what I like about the music art. I never tend to describe 100% how I felt or what I was thinking while I was making the song, because I want to leave that open to the interpretation of the listener, you know. So how you felt, every other person will have a different thing, but the thing in common is that it will make you dig down, dig deep into yourself and see what's going on.
And it's so like, it's such a beautiful deep track, and like the edit you're doing, Sean, is also your own interpretation of a track within sand art and what you are doing, and that's just absolutely amazing. So everybody really needs to be paying very close attention to the release of this track tomorrow. I don't want to keep talking about the process because I want people to be able to enjoy what's there. Okay, I think it's so important that every single person who's taken the time out of their day to watch this interview tunes in tomorrow and shares this interview, lets people know about Supersonic Sand, because what we're doing is so cutting edge and brand new. It's a completely different thing. This particular installment is just beyond beautiful, and it's an honor to have Sean's vision and WOB's vision then joined together into something completely different. So guys, thank you so much for the interview today. Everybody at home, please tune in at 8 o'clock tomorrow, where you will be able to see the Vikings tree.